Hi everybody. I had tried to come at you earlier to start a live video to talk about what to do to prune your trees, because if you had trees with winter kill, and I'm going to show you this little guy in a second, if you had trees with winter kill this spring because we had a late freeze, well, the sap is down in our trees and you can prune them again in the fall, and there's a special way that you need to do that. And I was going to start doing that and got interrupted and got interrupted and got interrupted and got interrupted. So I'm just going to take that as a hint that we're not going to talk about this guy. And I'm just going to show you around and show you what we're doing to get ready for this storm coming in. Today was a beautiful day, but the winds have changed and now they're coming from the north and it's cold. So I'm wearing a hat, not because it's that cold, but just to, I don't know, makes it look like it's colder, but it's not colder yet, but it's going to be cold tomorrow. And 2 weekends ago it was below zero, so who knows what it's going to be. So let me just show you a little bit about the Welcome Homestead. And hopefully, if you're an old local like we are, or you've been around a while, you've been getting ready for winter for a while. Okay, so pause that for a little second. I'm going to show you my poor sick tree that needs some pruning. I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Okay, so this is a tree, and anybody who knows plants or is a horticulturist is going to see 10 million different things wrong with this guy. And sorry, I'm stepping around the dog there. Anywhere from, you know, bad prunes. We didn't prune at knuckles there, and all these runners down here. And then this poor guy, he didn't know whether he wanted to grow as a tree, as a brush, or as a shrub. So we were kind of just letting him do both. I don't even know what kind of tree it is anymore. But we were letting it do both, and then the leaves had come out this spring, and then we had a hard freeze. And what happens is it cracks the bark. Let's see if I can get an example. Well, I don't even know if you can see it that well, but it cracks the bark and does what we call winter kill. And a lot of people, maybe some are from around here, maybe not, but that happens, that winter kill happens. Everybody's saying, well, Livingston, you know, beautiful, beautiful trees, and what's happened to the trees? Well, that happened to the trees. It was a late freeze, and the sap was coming up, and it splits the bark, and it's bad news. And the tree does what it does to try and heal that area. It takes a lot of energy for the poor dang tree. So anyway, we'll talk about pruning trees later. I was going to talk about winter kill this spring, and then was going to talk about it this fall, and the interruption said don't do that. So I'm just going to share some happies with you instead. I was out here cleaning up, trimming the rose bushes earlier, and this is one of my favorite falls. A little bit of bee food left there or something for the deer to snack on. Isn't that wonderful? I love eating dandelions. I was raised eating dandelion greens in the spring. You don't have anything to harvest. Lived on a self-sustaining farm, and even if we did have money, it was usually spent on buying chicken feed or something else. We didn't go to the store a whole heck of a lot. So those dandelions are your friends. They're not weeds. They're not your enemies. And this is what we're doing, and our neighbors are doing. Oh, Samson wants to say hi. Hi, Sam. Do you want to say hi to everybody? He's my last pony. He's my last big boy. Samson is a Shire Percheron cross. I know he looks like a Clydesdale. It's probably about a little bit smaller than a Clydesdale, more the size of a Percheron, but he's my last special boy. Doesn't ride, he's just a big pet. So I got somebody out there trying to self some wood. Wood heat's a thing. All right, just taking you around. Hopefully you can hear me over the wood splitter. The nice view over here, taking you for a little walk. Turn you around again for another second. there. But we're cutting wood. I have my sister from another mister on the other end of the state cutting wood. This is what we're doing with our warm weather day before the storm hits, because one thing, you don't want to be as cold, and I know those electricity bills are going to be high for a fair few of you, but I was raised on wood heat. We cooked with wood, and there's just no better way to stay warm in the winter than with a wood stove. So we just bought the best way to get your wood if you can't get up into the mountains, is order yourself a semi-truck load. Few locals will deliver that. We almost didn't get it because he wasn't able to get into the logging areas and get woods, but this is probably the cheapest way to get your wood heat, because it's like 15 to 20 cords. It'll come in on a semi-truck load. They unload it for you. Hopefully you've got the space. And then there's my hubby over there. He's cutting it up and throwing it. And he and our good friend Dirk, who lives over there, Dirk's over there at the splitter, split the cost of a semi-truck load, and 15 to 20 cords will keep both of our households warm for probably about 3 winters. Now, this wood came in, when it comes in, it's pretty green, and when you burn wood green, what happens is you get the pine tar and stuff burning off the wood, and it gets up in your chimney or your stack and gets a buildup of what we call creosote. You don't want the creosote to build up in your chimney very much. You want to make sure you clean that out, or you could have a chimney fire. So there, now he's hiding. Now I'm filming him. He's getting his split wood on the way. Okay, we'll turn him back around. Alright, so you got the green wood. Make sure, or your chimney, have like a temperature gauge on there. And it's going to make this kind of long video. We've got a lot of transplants, is what they call it, in the Bozeman and Missoula area in Montana. You guys may not have a clue. You know, you got a wood stove, you bought a house, and you want to burn wood, and you want to know the best way to do it. So there's my Christmas gift to you. Thankful November. All right, so here we go. So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stack the wood in such a way that it dries out. Now this wood stacked, and I'm going to show you a close-up section, back and forth. It's cross-stacked. And that is so, because if you stack it like this, it's not going to dry out as well. And I know we live out in a really, really dry area, but if you need the wood, like say the following year or maybe this winter, stack it like this. Okay, what that is going to do is it's going to dry up your wood so that you don't have that creosote problem, chimney fire problem, burn your house problem, insurance is not going to cover it problem, because they said we're not going to cover you if you've got a wood stove. And a lot of places, if you're renting them, aren't going to have one. So, and you know what? You're probably going to get cold this winter. Buy heating blankets. I don't know. Sleep with the dog. There are other ways to stay warm, but things in my house. So wood heat's the way to go. I'm going to give you one more peek out here at this beautiful mountain range before we go inside, and I'm going to show you. Here we go. That's the keeper. That's Immigrant Peak right over there. And there's not a day in the number of years that have gone by I've been out here that I don't look out that way and just be totally totally awestruck. So turn you around. We'll look at our sickly little tree needs a doctor tree shrub thingy. If I ever do this again, I promise it's going to look much better. In the meantime, the birds really love it. Got my rose bushes trimmed back. Boy, these guys will bite you. But I don't care how I trim them, because they bite. They're hardy. All I had to do to plant these guys, and I actually planted them that way to keep skunks from going out underneath the house, and it's effective, but if I don't keep up with him, it also makes the poor UPS guy have a hard time with his delivery. Okay, so enough information on that, because that's not what we're talking about. Not talking about tree pruning either. We're talking about firewood and getting ready for winter. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. The creosote, if you're burning green wood, it builds up in your chimney, not a good thing. Watch that stack temperature. Okay, so you're going to have a chimney on your wood stove, or you should have one, and if it burns cool, you're going to get a build up in there. You want to keep it in here. Again, your green wood is going to put a lot more of that stuff up in your chimney, and then here, don't ever let it get up in here, okay? This is going to turn red, which means up there and there is probably going to light on fire. So these are really handy, magnetic. You can just buy one, stick it on your stack, and monitor that temperature. You're not going to need half a dozen pieces of wood to warm up the house. You just need to get the fire started, and once you get that bed of coals going, your house is going to warm up really nice. You'll stay warm, you'll love it. Wood heat, again, is and living in a rural area out here in Montana, one of the other things I love to do, this surface, if I don't have any power, there's a power outage because there's too much snow and weight on the lines, and we get a lot of power outages out there where we run out of power. This bad boy is where I cook, okay? So keep that in mind. That's your welcome homestead tip. I haven't done any of the homesteading tips for a while because I'm a deep thinker, and I like the psychology stuff, and think about things and reflect on things. But my good sister from another mistress said, you really need to put up more stuff about the farming tips and the Montana tips, especially around here, since we have a lot of new neighbors that aren't familiar with how to handle a hard Montana winter if we ever get one. I know last weekend was cold and it was record breaking, but a lot of us are going to tell you when we were kids, our roads would get drifted in and we would be stuck in our house for a couple weeks before we could ever get out. We'd burrow through the snow drifts, and you'd have to walk to the stores, whatever. So just be prepared in whatever way, and this was your one way to prepare for winter. If you've got a wood stove, better be getting that wood stack and that wood pile ready to go. Okay, you don't want to be doing it when it's below 0 outside. All right, have a great day, everybody. Bye.